finding pairs with a certain sum. So you are given with two integer arrays nums1 and nums2. You are tasked to implement a data structure that supports queries of two types, right? Add a positive integer to an element of a given index in the array nums2. Count the number of pairs I comma j such that nums1 of I plus num2 of j equals a given value, right? Implement a find some pairs class. Now find some pairs initializes the find some pairs object with two integer arrays nums1 and nums2, and void add int index comma int value, add value to nums2 of index, apply nums2 of index plus is equal to value. That means they have already given us what we need to do, right? Now int count returns the number of pairs I comma j such that nums1 of I plus num2 of j is equal to total. Now that means we are given with find some pairs which is having nums1 and nums2. Now for other classes or other methods, right, here for void add and int count I cannot implement or cannot use nums1 and nums2. So what I'll do, I'll just take this vector int and n1 and n2. Now what I'll do, n1 is equal to nums2 and n2 is equal to, sorry, n1 is equal to nums1 and n2 is equal to nums2, right? Now let us see what we have to do in void add and int count. So here I have given with find some pairs. The input is this array. Now if I take that array, n1 is equal to double one triple two three, and I have n2 is equal to 1 4 5 2 5 4. Now I have next one, count the number of values or number of instances I comma j where nums of I plus nums of j is equal to total. Now the total value is given as 7. Now, right, so how many pairs are there with the sum value of 7? Now if I add 2 and 5, then I would get 7, and 4 and 3 I would get 7. So 1 pair, 2 pair, and third pair, 4 5 6 and 7, and then 8. So there are totally 8 pairs, right? So there are totally 8 pairs. For 3 twos and 2 fives, I have 3 into 2 6, and I have two pairs, 2 into 1 4 for 2 times and 3 for 1 time, 2 into 1 2 times, 6 plus 2 is 8. So and I have add 3 comma 2, that means at index 3 add the value at index 3 of n2 with 2, 0 1 2 3 4 5. At index 3 add 2. Now what I'll do, I'll just take wait a second, I'll just take this 2 and add a 2 to it. So if I add 2 plus 2, it would be 4, right? Now I have the next one, right? Count. Count the number of pairs which are having a sum of 8. So I have this 4. Wait a second. For 1, I need 7. I don't have any 7. For 4, I need 4. I don't have any 4. For 5, I need 3. So for 5 I need 3 and I have two values. So there are two values and I have written 2 here. Now again I have count the number of values which are having 4 as the sum. So for 1 I need 3. So there is one pair. So I would return one pair, only one pair. Now add 0 comma 1, that means I am adding 1 to the value at index 0. If I add it, I would get 2. Now again add this one as completed. Now I need to add at index 1, add 1 to index 1, the value 1, right? So if I add 1, it would be 5. Now I have count 7. So I have 2, I need 5 in N1, but I don't have any 5. For 5, I need 2. So I have 3 5s here, and there are 3 2s here. So for every 5, I would get 3 times 2s. 3 into 3, there will be 9 values. Now for 4, I need 3 as the difference for getting a total of 7. So for 3, I need for 4, I need 3. So I have 2 values. 9 plus 2, 11 will be written. But if I just get this, find some pairs, and wait, after that, we are asked with void add, right? Add, we are given with int index and also int value. They have just set that to add n2 of index plus is equal to value. Now, after that, we need to count the number of values or number of pairs which are having the sum as total. Now, let me initialize int count is equal to 0, and I would go with for I is equal to 0 till n1 dot size, and j is equal to 0 with for loop j is equal to 0 till n2 dot size. If n1 of I plus n2 of j is equal to total, then we'll increment the count. Now, after these two loops, we will return the count at the end. Now, wait a second. What I need is not this one. Why? Because this would give me a time limit exceeded error. Why? Why? Because if I look at the constraints, they are given that nums1 dot length is 1000, nums2 dot length is 10 power 5. It is not 105, it is 10 power 5. So 10 power 5 into 1000 is nothing but big O of 10 power 8. So this would give us a wrong or TLE. So we need to optimize it. Now, my optimization rule is not by just getting n n1, right? I need nums2 to be optimized. That means I need to store in some values so that I can get the total. Now, if you have solved this two sum problem, which is the first problem in LeetCode, you can get uh, why we use this difference to get the values in hashmap. I'll tell you what I am doing here. So this n2, this n2 will be stored in frequency map. So what I need to do some changes are for auto IT in N2 frequency of IT plus plus. So what I just did here is just increment the frequency of every element in nums2. Now I have n2 of index plus is equal to value. But if just imagine in the m2 values, I have 1 for one time, 2 for two times, and 3 for just one time. Now I have 1 2 and 3, 0 1 2. This is the first nums1 values. Now I have given that add, and I have given with the index value as 2, and also made us to increment it by 2. So if I have to increment it by 2, I need to make it as 5. But before that, I need to decrement the value of 3. Why? Because 3 is not existing for now. Why? Because for now I am removing this 3, and if it has become 0, now if it doesn't become 0, if I have given with add 1 comma 1, that means at index 1 add 1 to 2, right? So imagine I have another value as 2 here, so this would be perfect, right? So for this I just decrement the value of 1, that means the frequency of 2 with just 1. I am just decrementing it by 1. Now what I would do, I am incrementing it by, let me just give it as 3 so that you don't be confused, right? So At index 1 the value is 2 and I am incrementing it by 3. If I increment it by 3, 3 plus 2 it would be 5. But I have this 2 at the last, right? So when I got a 5, I would add it by 1, right? So 2 is having a frequency of 1 and 5 is having a frequency of 1. Now let us implement this. Add 2 comma 2. At 2 I have 3. 3 is decremented to 0 and I will just erase it. Now at index 3 I need to increment it by 2. So 3 plus 2 will be 5. So I will just increment the frequency of 5 so that it would become 2. So what I did instead of this add function, I'll tell you. Instead of this add function, void add, I got an index and also int value, right? So we need to decrement frequency, right? Frequency of n2 of index minus minus. And if frequency of, wait a second, frequency of n2 of index is equal to 0, then I need to erase it. So frequency dot erase n2 of index. Now after erasing this, what I need to do? I need to increment the value, right? N2 of index should be incremented by value. So N2 of index is incremented by value and frequency of N2, wait a second, N2 of index plus plus. Now I have got the add function correctly. But how do I escape from this TLE? So that what I'll do, int count, and I have given with int total value. Now I am initializing int count is equal to 0. Now instead of going through n2 which is having a size of 1 e 10 power 6, no, it is something like 10 power 5 I think. So let it be, it is something like 10 power 5, right? So instead of going through n2 I would go with n1. So for int it in n1. Now int difference is equal to total minus id. Now what I am just doing here, if the 9 is the total value and I am just going with 1 2 3 which is n1, 9 minus 1, I will search for 8 in n2. And how many times does this 8 occur in n2, so that I have stored it in frequency map. So int difference is equal to total minus id, right? So if frequency dot difference find difference is equal to frequency dot end, that means I got that difference. Now count plus equal to frequency of difference, right? So that by this I can get the total count. So we'll be returning the count at the end. So this is how you solve this problem, and I have given the code link in the description. Go and check it, and if you have any doubts please do comment in the comment section. Thank you.